Oh, all right, guys, y'all already know what time it is. WQEB 97.3. This your girl, Queen Evelina. And this is QEB with my girl, Ashley Copeland. Okay.
Hi.
We're going to be talking to her today about her new book, Stepmom Blues. Okay. I am so excited. We see you dressed all in the denim.
You know, I had to dress up appropriately. Denim is going to be all around. I love my denim. So, yes.
Okay. Now, many people don't know this, but because I happen to also be a fashion nerd and not just a film nerd, but blues is another term for denim or your pair of jeans.
It
so
is.
that's already telling me a little bit about you. The fact that you
Yes.
even named it Stepmom Blues, because it's
Yes.
almost like you're saying, I want you guys to walk a day in my shoes, in my pants.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes, that definitely has a lot of significance. Just with my story in general. I'm not sure if you got to kind of skim through, but you know, my experience with being a stepmom kind of just started when I was younger. I had a stepmother, you know, obviously. My parents went through a really nasty divorce. So I was the little kid in the situation, and I witnessed a lot of things that I held in for years. And now that I'm older, you know, I was married prior to this marriage, and when we separated, he wound up remarrying, and so now my children have a stepmom. So you know, I'm like, okay, you know, this is like full circle for me, and then remarrying, and now I'm a stepmom myself. So it's like this is crazy. Yeah,
Right. So therefore, you were meant
yeah,
to be the one
yeah,
to let all the stepmoms know and provide that guidance, even for the stepmoms to be,
yes,
ones who don't even realize that they're going to be in that situation.
yeah.
Now, we do know statistics say that marriages within America last like 50-50.
Right.
Tell me about the first time you met your stepmother. Ooh.
So I was very young. I think I met her like when I was 4 or 5. So I don't have like an extreme, like I can't remember every single detail. However, there were events that I remember that just kind of, you know, stuck with me for life. Um, I don't remember like that first initial meet where it's like, oh, you know, this is your stepmom. It was just kind of one of those situations where I realized I'm being dropped off at my dad's house and being picked up. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I really didn't understand the separation and what was going on until my very first thought was that comes to memory is watching my mom and my stepmom like physically fight. I had to be at that point maybe like 6, 7. Um, and all I could remember is like, what is going on? Like, why are these women fighting? And my dad like trying to separate them, and I didn't understand it. I was just, you know, like sad. Like, why are they fighting? It wasn't until I actually was, you know, I'm older and I realized like, okay, I remember hearing something about child support. I remember hearing something about, you know, why are you taking her kids with, you know, these children with her? This is your time with her. And now I'm like, oh, I get it. You know what I'm saying? This was deeper than just me. This was, you know, they were going through their own stuff at the time, and I was too young to really understand that. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, do you think that now that you have become a stepmom,
Yes.
that is what inspired you to write this book?
Actually no. What really inspired me was my children having step parents.
Oh,
So
okay.
after my divorce, you know, it was not pretty. And now I'm in a situation where he's moved on. He's like, hold on, you know, I got this new girl, and now it's time for my kids to meet I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. This is not what I thought my life was going to end up like. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
But it wasn't until then. Obviously, we had our ups and downs in the beginning, and then I had to start replaying my childhood, and I'm like, hold on,
Mm,
I don't want this cycle to continue. You get what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
why am I angry at her? She
Ah,
didn't do
okay.
anything to me. Like, this is not this. We got to end this here. So it wasn't until I started thinking about my past, and I'm like, I gotta, I gotta move different with this. So I didn't want my kids to experience what I went through and how I was feeling as a kid. You get what I'm saying? So that opened me up to have more real conversations with her, woman to woman, hard conversations. And then I realized my son like loved his stepmom. He was like,
Mm,
it got to a point where he was like, Mom, like he called her mom when he was there because she had kids of her own. And when they're that young, my son was only like 2 when he like initially met her. So you hear other kids calling someone mom, you're like, mom, you get what I'm saying? So I was like, at first I was like, no, whatever. But then I was like, you know what? If my son loves her, then I love her too. And it just kind of opened my heart to that. And then, years later, I married Zane and I became a stepmom. So I'm like, okay, here we go.
oh, okay. So that's
Here
what
we go.
happened. So you became a stepmother
Yes.
after
After.
your kids had their
Yes.
stepmother. Okay,
Yes.
so now that makes sense because, and I
Yes.
was gonna ask, was it trust issues? Like, was it just that you didn't trust the other woman, so you
Oh
felt
no,
like,
I
hey,
actually went in full trust, fully like, okay, I know she's probably gonna feel how probably I felt or how my mom felt at that time. So
okay,
I was actually more understanding once I remarried and now I was the stepmom. You get what
okay,
I'm saying? I
gotcha.
was like, oh wait, I've been the kid, I've
Uh-huh.
been the ex-wife, I've been so now I'm like,
Yes,
let it out. Whatever I know her anger really isn't with me. You get what
right.
I'm saying? So it was a lot easier for me at that point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna go through the steps of being a stepmom.
Yes.
So what is the very first thing that every stepmom should know?
Mm.
Stepmom 101. Give it to me.
Stepmom 101 that your no situation is the same at all. Just because when you enter the child's life, depending on how old they are, I feel like sometimes the younger, it might be a little easier because you're growing with them versus if had I got with Zane and they've been like, 10, 12, they wouldn't have been as open with me. We wouldn't have had that time to bond. So I would say patience is the biggest thing when you're in this position because I don't think anyone necessarily just goes into life saying, I'm going to be a stepmom. You think that you're going to be with your significant other for the rest of your life.
Are you
And
sure with this generation?
even with this generation, I feel like there's a lot of hope. And marriages are actually, lasting a lot longer now, I believe.
Okay.
We're still at that 50-50.
We're gonna fact check that.
I mean, I just read something just about kids growing up with two-parent homes now. It's up to 70%. So in my mind, I'm like, to me, I feel like people are stepping up into the roles and not just, like, you know what, let me dip. So I feel like there's hope.
There's
There's
hope.
hope. There's
Okay.
hope. There's
Okay.
hope.
We'll leave it at hope.
Yes, really.
Yeah, because I mean, most of the reports that are out right now is men are lonely, they can't find
Is that
partners.
just for Atlanta reports?
No, no.
I think that's an Atlanta
This is Atlanta thing. I don't know because there is a new page on TikTok called "Don't Date Him ATL."
Oh, they got that everywhere. They got one in St. Pete. I saw my ex-husband on that list.
Get out of here!
I swear.
You dodged the bullet.
I was dying laughing. I was like, ooh. I hit him. I'm like, you on the list, bruh.
Wow, absolutely.
They dogging you. They dogging you.
Okay, okay.
But it's still my kid's father. I don't wish bad on him. But it's funny. They're doing that in a lot of cities now. It's like post somebody and be like, okay, do you know him? Is anybody dating him? What's the background? Oh, they was in on him. I was like, you have been exposed.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it's one thing to have a thought and then go through the process of actually putting it into a book.
Yeah.
So I know you had the thought first. When did you know you had to immortalize those thoughts in literature?
You know what? So I had actually been working on this prior to me even being on Love and Hip Hop.
Mhm.
That's why there's a scene where Zane's like, stepmom blues. I was like, oh, you trying to steal my stuff? Like, 'cause he already knew about the book, and so he had his little guitar trying to be funny. I'm like, okay, don't do that. I had been working on it for maybe like 2 years, just on and off, like just writing down like memories and thoughts. And at first, I wasn't gonna really put it out. It was more for just me. Because I at no point wanted to, hurt anyone's feelings or anything because there's a lot of stuff about my mom, my stepmom. My father passed away, and so it was just a lot. And I'm like, you know what? Being on the show, seeing how tough relationships are, and a lot of the women on the show have stepchildren, or so I'm like, you know what? I feel like this is the perfect time to just, put it out, and maybe it can really help someone who's in this situation.
Right,
Yes.
right. God is so good because
Amen.
you wrote a book, you studied journalism, but you
Yes.
dropped out.
I did.
But now here we are with the book.
Yes.
Have you made that connection already?
Yeah, kind of. I think that sometimes like I still be in denial and downplaying myself sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like just when I was in school, I wound up being pregnant with my daughter. She's 21 now. And at that point I didn't realize like I could do multiple things at once. I was 21, and I think I just had this thing where I was like, okay, no, well, there goes your scholarship. There, you can't run track, can't do cross country. You got to, just be a mom, and you can't do any of these things. And I kind of just gave up on myself at that time, thinking that I had to really just put all of it into my daughter, which you do. But had I known that I could still balance, finish school, and do all those things, I think that, I probably would be a lot further in just with my writing and everything else. But I will say it's never too late. So, I think I'm picking it back up.
Yeah, because as you mentioned earlier, you're now also on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Yes.
Yes. Married to Little Zane. We
Yes.
all know him.
Yes.
Okay. Hip hop superstar, powerhouse,
Yes.
trendsetter.
Yes.
And now you're on TV.
Yes.
Again, sharing your journey.
I am.
Though you studied journalism.
I know.
And dropped out of school.
Yes.
Dropped out. I mean, isn't it just ironic?
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
I never even thought I'd be here. It's crazy because I had Zane in my locker. Like I had a little poster of him, and just to like sometimes I'm like, wait, like is this my real life? Like this is happening to me right now? Like it's crazy. But everything happens for a reason. So I think I also had to go through those journeys and those steps in my life to get where I'm at, to even have such a beautiful story. So
right, yeah. Right. And the confidence to share it with us.
Yeah.
Because not many people, you wrote a book.
Yes.
Put the book out there.
If I can be on Love and Hip Hop, I can write a book because that's scary.
Right. Very
Being
scary.
on national television sharing your story, that's scary.
Okay. So there is also a positive part.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Tell me about the first impact when someone has come up to you and they say, hey, I've seen you on TV and you made me feel such and such way.
Yeah.
Or I learned such and such thing. Tell me about that experience.
Well, I would say it was actually at my local gym, and this lady, she was, a little older than me. She was like, she just kind of reached her arm out when I was walking by, and she was like, "You're doing great. You're doing great. I love you." And I'm like, "What is this woman talking about right now? She don't know me." You know what I'm saying? And then she saw Zane right behind me, and she said, "Don't make me hurt you." And I was like, "Oh, she talking about the show. Okay, okay, this is starting to make sense to me." So it's crazy that I actually get a lot more love and positive feedback, like from the people I meet in person. Online, they're vultures. They will rip you apart. I've been called every name in the book. I've been bad wig, insecure, stupid. I was like, oh.
No, not to talk about your wig.
What? Listen, you should see my block list. It is huge. I was like, even if they say one thing negative I don't like, it could be, I love Ashley, but blocked.
Okay.
But blocked.
But
we'll come back
to
you some other day. I don't need no butts in my life. You with me or you against me?
Well, one good thing you never talk about the makeup.
Justin!
All right. Shout out to Justin.
Shout out to Justin.
All right.
Yes.
Is Justin an MUA or a friend? Oh, okay.
Both. both.
Okay.
The truth. He probably done walked up in my house, saw me crying one day, and was like, "Girl, get it together." You know what I'm saying? Like that's the truth. Like I will say that I've met some amazing people being on the show. So yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, of course, writing a book and being on the show, and I'm going to ask this about each thing. Tell me, what is the one thing that has changed about you since writing the book and since being on the show?
Hmm. One thing that's changed about me since I've written the book would probably just be oh,
Something
oh,
that you see differently. You might have seen it one
I
way, and then after writing the book, you see it a different way.
I think just like I don't know, my courage maybe. I feel a lot more confident. Um, I was scared of I'm still scared of my mom. I love you, mom, if you're watching this. I was scared really more so hurting her feelings. Just like I know my thoughts and my feelings are mine, but just putting it out for the world, was scary. But I think the confidence, I was just like, you know what? I'm that girl. I live this. This is my part of my life, and I want to share it, and I want to get it out there. So my confidence, even when I look in the mirror, I'm like, you know what? You did that. With being on the show, I would say it's kind of just, hmm, I don't know. I don't know. The only good thing I think that's probably come from this show is probably
Don't cancel us.
no,
Don't cancel us.
don't cancel me.
Because I
Is
feel like she's going to get us
no,
canceled.
no,
Go
no.
ahead.
It's probably honestly just being more of like I don't want to say role model because I'd be downplaying myself. But I will say I have had a lot of women that have hit me up, asking me for advice or saying that they admire me. So it just encourages me to be better. So I guess yeah, it's
Yeah, because you got a lot of people
a
watching.
lot of people watching you.
There are
Just
millions watching.
it's making me just want to be the best version of myself. So yeah,
That is awesome and
yes,
so necessary
hmm
as a mom and a stepmom. So
yes,
now I'm going to ask you a very cheesy question, but
okay,
I know it's an extremely important question.
okay.
What do you feel is, besides the obvious, what is the biggest difference between being a mom and a stepmom?
Mm. Um, for me, because my stepchildren have been in my life since they were 1.5 and 2. Um, for me, I would probably say, oh my God, I don't really know what the difference is. I feel like they're my babies. Like I don't. That sounds crazy because like in my mind, I know that they're not, and they have a mother. I feel like I've treated them as my own. So
Was that the difference, that there is no difference?
there is no difference. Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly,
And you gotta,
there's no difference.
I absolutely love that. Okay.
Yes.
So if you had to talk to young Ashley right now, looking
Mhm.
at where you are right now and where you were in the beginning, with everything, what would you say to her? The one thing you feel like she needs to know.
Mm. The one thing I would say to my younger self
Mm-hmm.
is it's okay to say how you feel. I think I was always scared of hurting people, even still sometimes to this day, like because I know how powerful words are. Um, that your truth is your truth, and you don't have to hold it in. I think I held in a lot of things my whole life. As a little girl, I was the only child for like 13 years, and my mom decided to have another baby. I'm like, what are you doing? But I had a lot of quiet nights, a lot of quiet play sessions, a lot of moments where I heard things, and I've always wanted to just have someone to talk to or speak to, and then I would be scared. So yeah, just to speak your truth and say how you're feeling, and I encourage my kids to do that now. Like, tell me how you're really feeling. It's okay. Just letting them know it's okay.
Awesome.
Yes.
I would love to have you as stepmom.
Thank you.
You sound
Come on
awesome.
over.
Yes, you sound awesome.
Yes. Yes.
You
Thank
sound
you.
absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
Well, tell everybody where they can find the book.
So right now it's available on Amazon, and we just recently got placed in 44th and 3rd in Atlanta. So those are the two places, and then we have it in English, and we also have a Spanish version because my stepchildren are half Honduran. So their mother is from Honduras, and so I always, felt like, what, I need to put one in Spanish as well. So they're both available. Yeah.
Awesome. I am Queen Evelina, and you guys have been listening to WQEB 97.3 coming to y'all live from Barnes and Nobles in Buckhead with my girl Ashley
Thank
Copeland
you so much
from
for
Love and
having
Hip Hop
me.
Atlanta. Make sure to go get it. Stepmom Blues.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you for having me.
Likewise, likewise.
Hey. This one, Travis? I don't want to be anything other than